Hello everyone, my name is Amy and I just wanted to make a video about my testimony in China, and I wanted to make it a little casual conversational video. So I have my friend Micah to ask me some questions. So let's get into it.
All right, well Amy, thanks for having me. So yeah, I just wanted to ask you about your journey for China. Can you just give us a brief summary on what really pushed you to go to China and what gave you the strength and courage to say yes to that?
So them leaving my home circle, I had to find a new community that I can, constantly grow and
that's important.
Build new trust. And honestly, that was scary.
I bet,
but I did not want to be complacent either. So I, just took that risk and found a new church. And I think that church also helped me to really be bold and build that courage and faith to trust in God and His timing and His plans. Actually, a sermon series that the pastor went through was Heroes of Faith, and he talked about like Abraham, Moses, and honestly I related to Moses a lot because he had stuttering problems, and I was just like, the reason I held back on going was because of like stuttering reasons and just like I felt unworthy and incapable of teaching English, because I feel like dance is sort of second nature to me.
Yeah.
That I'm able to just sort of wing it. But English, and it was just every single day. So I was just more careful on that. But I think it gave me a lot more courage and boldness just to know that God doesn't, look for qualified.
I think one thing I did hear from a sermon I was listening to earlier today the pastor talked about how God doesn't look for the equipped, but He looks for the available. And so I think as long as you are making yourself available to God's calling for you, that's where the magic begins, where He starts really working with you and on you and helping kind of like touch others through the work that He's doing through you. So yeah, that's so good.
Yeah, and I was like so willing, but I also didn't want to be selfish in what I wanted only. Like I knew like if God wanted it for me too, He'll open like doors, and obviously I knew it was going to be hard because it's away from home and different language, cultural barriers. So I just wanted that confirmation from God, and like I would just go to every like altar call because I was just like, I wanted that confirmation like to go and that God will be with me,
Right. All right, so my first question I have for you is, what were the first signs you felt that God revealed to you about going on to missions, or even just the idea of missions? Did that scare you? Did that kind of just, you just put it on hold? Just the word missions, because I'm pretty sure if I told my parents, hey, I'm going on missions, they've been like, no, you're staying here, we're locking you in your room. But just how did you take the idea of missions? How did your parents take the idea of missions?
I think missions, so my first mission was Mexico mission.
Oh, okay.
And it was junior year of high school, and that was like my first ever missions. And as growing up as Christian, I think I also wanted to go on missions, but because of personal reasons. But thankfully, during that time, the doors opened. So it was like so eye-opening. And I think after that experience, it was just so like life-changing. And I even got like baptized that I found a deeper sense of like mission. Yeah. And just being in the presence of God with other people that are also close, in the presence of God. And I was just so on fire because I wanted to see God move in different people, and I was always so curious about other people's like testimonies because each one is so unique. So I think that mission mindset was like constantly stirring up. Yeah, because it was like 4 years ago, and yeah.
And just a side note, today is Amy's 4th spiritual birthday. So when she means 4 years ago, she legit means 4 years ago from today.
Yes, I am 4 years old.
But yeah, so happy spiritual birthday, by the way.
Thank you. So for my parents' side of asking their approval to go was another story, because you know, I'm like their first daughter, so they like keep me, you know, protective, and
I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that.
And especially my dad, like he's like overprotective, and you know, we had some time of like clashing, but yeah, so when I first like thought of going on missions to China, I kind of brought it up to them. What if I went to China? Like, what do you think about it? Would you send me? You know, that time it was just low key.
It was just an idea.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, maybe. Okay. You know, and then they were like, also like, yeah, like we would send you. You know,
very, just that thought.
Yeah, very just lighthearted. But as I kept like praying and like going on to altar calls, you know, really getting that confirmation, because I just had this desire to go.
Right.
And I like told the director that I was going to go through, and doors kept opening up, so I was just like, this is so weird, you know, I think this is from God, like he wouldn't just open doors for a reason. So when it got like finalized, I asked them again, and they were like, okay, hold up. Right? And they were like, okay,
sit down,
simmer down, let's
discuss, like adults.
And they were like, just give us 1 week to pray about it. And then we'll give you an answer. Right? So I was just like, okay, like that's understandable, you know, because it's literally sending me to a different country, not even Korea. So I was just like constantly interceding, like, yeah, I just kind of wanted to find peace whether they said yes or no. Yeah, and then the time came, that 1 week, right? And I was just like so scared to get like that confirmation.
Their answer, like their final answer.
You know? And then it was just so nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
But I like was like, you know, I need to ask, because yeah, I just need to do it.
Yeah.
And then I went to my parents, and then I brought it up, and they're like, you know what? I'll send you.
Wow. Did you feel like the final door to be open to China, did you feel like God caught you in the wrong timing or in the right timing?
I think it was perfect timing. So that time I was just like thinking about it, but I knew it wasn't my timing because it was first year in college, and I still wanted to finish before like 1 year before I went.
Right.
So obviously that time the door didn't open. So 2 different people went, and yeah, I was just like, okay, maybe next time. Yeah. So I kind of put it down, but then it came up again, and I was just like, oh shoot. Yeah. You know, and then I was like, yeah, maybe this is the time, because by summer I'll be finished with 1 year in college, right? And yeah, I was just kind of sick of everything back at home, and I wanted something new, because it was like so familiar and comfortable. I wanted something new, and like I wanted to find myself, because I thought I was very dependent on people, like my community, my friends. I was seeking approval, but I wanted to really like be more independent, and learn to expand myself, you know, really learn how to cook for myself, do laundry.
She knows how to make bomb kimchi bokkeumbap now, so
yes. Yeah, so I want to like experience that, because going into community college, I didn't have the dorm experience or like that, you know, roommates. So I wanted to explore.
Yeah. And I think it's very important to be independent, but most importantly, be dependent on God. Because I feel like a lot of people who want to be independent, they just think that whatever they do is fully in their hands and they rely only on themselves. And then when they can't meet those realistic expectations, they put themselves down. But in reality, as long as you have God and you stand on him as your rock, like that's the only thing that will fully carry you through, because you can't be shaken,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
So I can imagine how challenging it was for you to just say yes and to go. If I was in that position, I would probably hesitate a lot, because the idea of missions is like, you can't just give 85%. You have to give your full 110%.
Right.
So yeah, that's so awesome to hear just how God, you know, brought you out of that and gave you a clear message of your calling to do missions. If you don't mind me asking, how long were you gone for missions?
So initial trip was supposed to be 6 months.
Okay, 6 months.
Yeah, that was just my commitment. But during that 6 months, during the 3rd month duration, they were just asking like, oh, can you stay longer? Because, you know, they need constant teachers to teach them. And I was just like, oh my gosh, because like I'll spoil more on the next part of the series.
There's part 2, guys.
But I just had a hard time in the beginning, that it was hard to really decide if I want to stay another 6 months on top of that.
Yeah.
Right? Sacrificing my my studies back at home, you know, to transfer because I'm still in community college.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Dang, she like over committed.
So another thing before I left to China, I actually went through 3 seasons. The first one, I was just super excited to go to China, that my mindset was just already there and like excited to see the kids, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Because like the ticket was, you know, sealed and everything. But God like nudged me and was like, you know, you need to keep your priorities straight right now. You need to, you know, be faithful and diligent in right now and finish, you know, the semester that you're given to go. So I was like, yeah, you're right. Like I have another 5 months before going. Why am I already thinking about that, you know? So yeah, and then the second season was, I think, the most intimate season where I like fell in love with God again, and just reminding him of his love for me, and I was just like so like in awe, and I felt so close and near to him, right? And then the 3rd season before going, it was like yeah, it was like 180 shift of being close and then being sort of distant with God, right? Because it was like final season, so I rarely had time to spend with God. And I think the more I got closer to going, the enemy was like attacking me, like putting a lot of discouragement, to the point like the week before departure, I was just gonna tell the director and be like, you know what, I can't go. I'm sorry, like I'm just gonna call quits.
No.
And just that's what I wanted to do, because it was that discouraging. Yeah. And there was a lot of thoughts in my head like, am I really called to go? Like, is this the right thing? Like, and like just second thoughting everything. But at the same time, I knew that the enemy was trying to distract me. And obviously, if I were to just say no, I think God would honor that too. But also, I had this like desire, like strong desire, something in China, like I'm gonna find my calling, like my purpose. I just felt that because it's out of like comfort zone and just to be with him. So I was just like, you know what, I don't care, let's just go.
Testing her independence. There you go.
And I was just like, let go, let God. And even in that process, I didn't feel close to God. Like even in Korea, while we were doing different tours, I was just I just didn't feel close. But I was like, you know what, I'm gonna put feelings aside and really just worship of who he is and declare. And through that, I want to, you know, just exalt him and honor him and then, really punch the devil in the face. Yes.
That's so good.
Yeah.
That's so good. Well, thank you for sharing, Amy. There's a lot more to be said. This is part 1.
This is just my before process of going. There'll actually be 2 more of like my during process, like while I was in China, the 1-year duration, and then the after will be just when I came back and the transition process. So thank you for listening. Thank you, Micah. I'll see you in the next video.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Oh,
I need to pee, man.
Oh, man.